The Dodgers have paused Shohei Ohtani's throwing progression. When will we see Shohei on the mound for the Dodgers? Also, Dave Roberts is nearing an extension that could make him the highest paid manager in the sport. We've got bold predictions, and we'll talk about who's taking that final spot in the Dodgers rotation. All that more coming up next on a jam-packed edition of Dodgers Dugout Live.
It's time for Dodger baseball. Welcome to Dodger Stadium.
This is the golden age of Dodger baseball. The Dodgers are building a dynasty.
You got it, Warrior Parade! We got it, Parade! The Dodgers punch back and head to the championship series!
Ohtani starts the 50-50 club. Monkey magic. Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone. Start the party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out. What is up, Dodgers Nation, and welcome to another episode of Dodgers Dugout Live, the #1 Dodgers show and podcast on YouTube. My name is Doug McKain, credential member of Dodgers Media. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. Now, if you haven't yet, do me a huge favor. Join the movement. Subscribe to the Dodgers Nation YouTube channel. Hit the notification bell. Hit the like button. And definitely comment down below all your takes. Rookie of the year if you want to be eligible for our next giveaway at 120,000 subscribers. All you have to do is comment and you'll be eligible for the giveaway. Also, join the Discord. If you join the Discord, you're definitely going to want to do that because that is where you guys can get all access, exclusive merch, behind the scenes content, interviews. You're going to be able to call into the show, and we just are lowering the price at $6.99. So be sure to do that. We are lowering the price. Join the movement on the Discord channel. And we are just Miguel Rojas, Kevin Pillar, AJ Pollock, Manny Mota days away from Dodgers opening day, just 11 days away until the Dodgers open up their season in Tokyo versus the Cubs. It is arriving very quickly here. The Dodgers have some big decisions to make, and we're going to get into that. But of course, I got to start every show with the Dodgers Nation poll question of the show, the Dodgers Dugout Live poll question of the show. I asked you guys over on the X, what kind of pitcher do you expect Shohei Ohtani to be for the Dodgers? And right now, 31% say elite, 56% say very good, 12% say average, and 1% say below average. So let me know your thoughts on that. Of course, we're looking for all your comments. We're looking for that comment of the show. So once you get the comment of the show, you win that title for the day. We're going to feature you on our Instagram story. We're going to feature you on our X. So we'll give that out later in the show during the 7th inning stretch, and always have your questions. So we got Tony Taters in the mix, looking for your comments of the show. He'll be featuring those on the screen. He'll be featuring those later during the 7th inning stretch. And then we've got our social media superstar, Noel Sanchez. He runs Dodgers Nation Instagram, so he'll be looking for your comments as well. But of course, every episode begins with the leadoff.
Leading off, the hottest story in Dodger baseball.
And now the hottest story in Dodger baseball is yesterday we learned that Shohei Ohtani has not thrown a bullpen in 10 days since February 25th, and that they are pausing his throwing program. Now, he's still throwing, he's still playing catch, but they are pausing the throwing program as far as the bullpens and the ramp up in the intensity. And he will not face hitters in Cactus League play. He will not face Dodgers hitters. He won't face hitters in a B game. He won't face hitters in A game. Dave Roberts said yesterday that as the game has intensified, his working in a game is changing what they're doing with him on the mound in bullpen sessions. He says, as the game has intensified, his work playing in games, it was sort of trying to giving him a little respite from the rehab and to slow him down. We've never really put him on a timetable or anything like that. There has been no timeline. The intensity of his work, the at-bats, he's still playing catch. The arm is still moving. We just feel that to intensify the bullpens alongside the intensity of the games wasn't smart. So we just wanted to kind of slow play it. So the plan for him is to ramp up as the season begins, as they continue to bring him back from that labrum surgery and get the hitting right, get the at-bats right. He's still looking for 50 at-bats to get right for the start of the regular season. And Dave said that he doesn't know when that's going to be and that it didn't make sense to ramp him up on the offensive side with the bat and on the mound at the same time, given his surgery and just appreciating that he had surgery on his left shoulder. So it's a nuanced thing, as Dave pointed out with him. So just trying to push something that they didn't need to, they didn't want to go that route. So essentially what they're saying is, hey, he's coming back off surgery. He hasn't pitched in a game since 2023. The surgery set his throwing program in the offseason and his rehab back as it was. So they're taking it one step at a time. I think they want to say, okay, he's 100% back at the plate on the offensive side with the stick. And once he's at or close to 100% with that, then they can take the next steps to building him up as a pitcher, and then we can start to see him in a game. Now, Dave was asked about the month and the date that he gave out, just the kind of the timeline of it all from back in January. And he said, hey, we talked about it in January. I just feel that we are going to be making it a broad time to return. We just don't know when he's ready for the process. We'll know. I don't want to put any expectations for Shohei. So he has not taken the mound against hitters, against an opposing team, since his second major arm surgery on his right arm, on his right elbow, that he had back in September 2023. And then you add the fact that he had the surgery on the torn labrum on his left shoulder. That was the big factor there. And it was a joint decision. So I want to point that out. I don't think you could say necessarily was a setback per se, and that it wasn't a situation where he was throwing these bullpens and the velocity was a little suspect, or he felt something in his elbow, or he just wasn't bouncing back the way that they had hoped. I don't think that this is the case. I think that this is the Dodgers understanding that you don't want to push something that you don't need to, because this team is about October. It's not about May. And you have plenty of depth right now with the guys in your starting rotation, with the young guys that are already in the organization, guys like Landon Knack and Dustin May and Tony Gonsolin. I mean, there's plenty of depth, along with the frontline starters, the Tyler Glasnows, the Blake Snells, the Yamamotos, and Roki Sasaki's of the world. Of course, he hasn't even made his big league debut. He's not even on the 40-man roster, actually. So, I mean, they still have to make some corresponding moves, and they have a lot of guys they can send to the IL to facilitate that. But it's big. To me, it's big in the sense that hey, if you were expecting to see him in May, sure, that's possibly still possible, but I don't anticipate that. And I don't even care. I don't care if it's after the All-Star break. I really do not care, because the most important thing is when he comes back, he's not putting himself at any risk from an injury standpoint, because if he gets injured on the mound and that compromises what he does at the plate, then this is a very different looking Dodgers team. Let's not forget that. The only thing that can be a disaster for the Dodgers offensively would be if Shohei Ohtani would suffer an injury and he would have to miss significant time. You just cannot have that. So for me, it's less about, oh, I want the spectacle of the unicorn on the mound. I want to experience that. Yes, that is going to be absolutely electric when we do ultimately get to see him on the mound throwing for the Los Angeles Dodgers. But last season, he had 54 home runs. He had 59 stolen bases. He won the MVP. The Dodgers need his bat to make this team the juggernaut that we all expect them to be. So you can't have any risk from that standpoint. And this was a joint decision between just communicating with Shohei Ohtani, communicating with the trainers and the doctors and the baseball development department. So this was the move, and it made all the sense in the world. Now, he has thrown 4 bullpen sessions during spring training. He has made some headlines just because we saw him pitching out of the windup, but he's going to have to ramp up during the season. And another thing to consider, too, is it's not like you're going to send him on a rehab assignment because he is going to be batting. He's going to be hitting. He's going to be an integral part of this Dodgers lineup. So that's another challenge that's going to complicate matters just a little bit. But I do want to say out there, I see the haters. I see the Ohtani haters that are ready to jump on this saying, oh, he's a $700 million DH. That's all he is. A $700 million DH. Well, first of all, it's $460 million in present day value. Second of all, if he were just a DH and he never pitched ever for the Los Angeles Dodgers, he would still be worth his weight in gold based on what he does at the plate offensively, the way that he drives in runs, hits home runs, steals bases. He's an offensive dynamo. And then you add the fact that he brings in sponsorships. It would definitely change the mystique of Shohei Ohtani for sure, but we're not at that point. And they're not even having those discussions, right? He is going to pitch for this team. It's just been pushed back slightly. And I think that this is the 100% right decision. There is no reason at all whatsoever to rush Shohei Ohtani back to the mound. And look, I mean, talking to people within the organization, they liked how his bullpen sessions went. They like the fact that he's evolving with the windup to find some more rhythm and continue to develop on that side. So I don't think that this is as bad as people are trying to make it out to be. And like I said, the only thing that could be a disaster would be that you would lose Shohei Ohtani for the season or for any significant amount of time because he was rushed back to the mound. Now, I will say that really the number one thing for me when it comes to spring training is, yes, you do want to get hitters timing, and offensively you want to find a rhythm. You want to give young guys opportunities, but really it's about stretching out pitchers and building up pitchers to go 100 pitches. And it's tough to do when you're also a hitter, but you'll live with it. You'll live with it for Shohei Ohtani. I'm not overly concerned about this. If I had to put my concern level on a scale of 1 to 10 for Shohei Ohtani in the pitching, it would be a 2. It really would be a 2, just because sometimes it can be a worry ward, so I'll just think of certain things, but it's a 2. This is related to the fact that he had the offseason labrum surgery, and there's no reason to rush him back. But happy Friday, Dodgers Nation, wherever you're watching the show. Definitely let us know. Represent down below. I got the Fun Shirt Friday vibes happening. We got some super chats. Ray Soto saying, happy Friday, Rookie of the Year. I love it. Joseph Gutierrez, a $4.99 super chat. Hey, D-Mac, where's Blake Snell? He's only started 1 game almost 2 weeks ago, but I haven't heard anything in regards to injury or slow playing time. Look, the thing with Blake Snell is he is a veteran. He's a multi-time Cy Young Award winner. I talked to Blake Snell about getting off to a slow start last year just because he signed late. It wasn't a normal spring training for him, and he's someone that you are just going to respect his ramp up. And you look at what he's done so far. Yeah, I mean, you've seen him in limited work, but for him, he's just trying to get the fastball command down and tinker with certain things. So I'm not worried about Blake Snell. He's going to be 100% fine. This is all part of the plan. I think that he most likely is going to be possibly the Dodgers opening day starter, but you're going to see him when they get back in the domestic opening day, right? You got Yamamoto for game 1 against the Cubs in Tokyo, and hopefully Roki Sasaki. Not a lock, but I have heard that that is the most likely scenario right now if everything goes as planned. Now, switching gears a little bit to yesterday's action, I want to talk some Dustin May. Earlier in the week, we talked about how Dustin May was a major X factor. I had him as number 2. on my list of Dodgers X Factor players. And the reason why I had him so high was in the event of an injury to one of your frontline starters, Dustin May has the kind of stuff where you can step into a role as a frontline guy and you don't have to be as aggressive on the market if you need to add another starting pitcher. Dustin May has that kind of talent. Well, yesterday, D. May had another really nice performance through 3 scoreless innings. It was his third start of Cactus League play, and he's trying to earn a spot in this rotation. He ended up throwing 50 pitches. He allowed just 1 base runner per inning, didn't have any damage against him, and a couple takeaways from his outings, the good and the bad. The good was you saw that curveball in play. He threw 15 curveballs in 50 pitches, used it at a 30% clip. That curveball is a nasty pitch, nastier than a porta potty at a music festival. I mean, it's just absolutely disgusting. But the velocity, not the velocity that we saw from Dustin May before the injury. He averaged 94.9 miles per hour on the sinker. That was down from the 95.9 miles per hour he was averaging in his last spring training start. So from a velocity standpoint, you want to see him trend the other direction. And the big question is, do we get the 98, 99 mile per hour version of Dustin May? And how long is it going to take to get there? I still think that he can get there. The arm action, the mechanics, everything looks smoother and more refined this time around. And Dave Roberts did not rule out the possibility of Dustin May having a rehab start. But May, his mindset is to make this team. He said after the game, quote, "I'm willing to do whatever for the team. I would definitely prefer to start, but whatever is going to keep me healthy in the big leagues and being able to just log innings, because I have been able to do that in the past, I will be open to doing just that." And the other big things that stood out to me from what Dustin May said after the game was, after the first arm surgery, he never felt good bouncing back from throwing. Now that's not the case. Now he's feeling good about it. He feels like it's a huge weight lifted off his shoulders. And that is the number one thing, is the bounce back is where it needs to be. Because look, he was trying to come back and he was trying to help this team in any way he could before. But the difference was the arm just didn't ever feel 100% right. Now he's saying it feels 100% right. And he said a couple things that really stood out too. On top of that, it was, he said he would like to think that he's in a competition and he's feeling really good. And then here is a very bold quote from Dustin May. May said, "My stuff in the zone, it's as good as anyone in the league." So he's got that type of confidence. He knows how nasty he is. Only question is, does he get an opportunity early on? I still think that Tony Gonsolin will be the Dodgers' 5th starter to start the season, because further along in his rehab, didn't have setbacks, was going to pitch for them during the postseason. Let's not forget, in the regular season a few years ago, Tony Gonsolin, he was an all-star. So he's ahead of Dustin May in his career as a starting pitcher. He does have an option, but they're not going to send Tony Gonsolin down. I highly doubt that. Another option you could have is you could see a piggyback situation with Tony Gonsolin and Dustin May, guys that can give you multiple innings out there. Wouldn't be shocked to see that. So you would use less relievers by rolling the dice on a multi-starter game, a piggyback situation with Tony Gonsolin and Dustin May. I'm hoping that we see that because, one, those guys are like best friends, they're great friends, and they're 2 farmhands, right? 2 guys that were developed by this organization, and I think that would be a really nice scenario and a pretty soft landing for Dustin May as well. So don't sleep on D. May. I mean, I think that he's acing his spring training. I think the velocity numbers, you prefer to see them a little higher and closer to where we saw them a couple of years ago. But the stuff looks really good. He's bouncing back really well. And with 3 scoreless, it's nothing to sneeze at. So I think Dustin Mania could be on the way. And I think that he's not going to be the 5th starter. I think it's Tony Gonsolin. But I do think that Dustin May could have a more impactful year potentially than Tony Gonsolin for this team in the event that they lose a starting pitcher and then Dustin May is kind of thrusted into a situation and he realizes that potential, because Dustin May's upside is higher than Tony Gonsolin's upside. So, hey, I like it. I like it. I mean, this is like I said, it's an MLB The Show fever dream to have this kind of roster, right? An embarrassment of pitches, the murderer's rotation, but you got to have these guys stay healthy. Now, another pitcher that really stood out yesterday is Jackson Ferris. Was very, very impressed with Jackson Ferris, a guy who the Dodgers acquired in the Michael Busch trade along with Zaire Hope. He looks like he's going to be a weapon for this organization. Not this year, most likely, for sure. The following year, though. Who knows? Can make his debut. You never know with this team, but he had 5 strikeouts in 2 innings. He's got that swing and miss stuff. You see that nasty slider. It's actually a harder slider, as he told us a couple months ago. The shape's slightly different, and this is a guy that has a lot of confidence in himself. And he's another guy that falls into that category of when he's on, when he's right, stuff just looks disgusting. It looks nasty, and that is something that this organization covets. So, hey, man, I definitely think that Michael Busch has some success there, but from where the Dodgers are at, that was another fleece job from Andrew Friedman and taking advantage of that. But I caught up with Jackson Ferris a little while ago and asked him about the key adjustments and everything he needs to do to get to the big league level and have success. And he said something at the end that you don't hear from a lot of young players, and it really, really is a testament to the confidence that he has in himself. But here's Jackson Ferris on his future goals with the organization. And talk about where your confidence is at right now, because you're outstanding. I mean, you made that transition look easy. Like you said, baseball is baseball. The hitters are better. A lot of people say once you kind of get past AA, then you're really springboarded to the next level. But just talk about where your confidence is after the year you had.
I feel like, so at the beginning of the year, I was going through quite a little bit of a rough spot, working on some things, and that kind of helped me once I started, like, something just clicked one day, and we just went to this like counter rotation thing in my motion. And as soon as that clicked, like, my confidence went through the roof. Like, I mean, it was just like, okay, I know I can go out there. I know I can still do what I do out there on the mound. And then it's just like, it's all in my own head. Like, if I go out there, if I think the right things, if I do the right things, it's all going to fall into the right direction. Let the defense do what they do behind you. And everything, I'll go out there and get my 5 innings, 6 innings that the team needs to help us get a win. So, for sure.
And talk about those things that are a little different. I mean, you look at where your pitch mix is at. You got the fastball, you got the slider. I mean, those are your 2 most used pitches. But what were some specific things that you may have tinkered with that allowed you to have more success?
So from the Cubs to the Dodgers, we went from banging my big slider and my sweeping slider that I had with the Cubs that they had taught me that my first year, to go into more of like a traditional, just like a bullet slider, thinking cutter, just trying to throw it basically as hard as I can, get the little small movement just off the bat, which is going to generate more swings. It'll generate its swing and miss, but it'll generate more swings to get a hitter in and out of the box as quick as possible. And then kind of took away from my curveball and changeup a little bit, just trying to learn that new pitch. And then as soon as I went to Tulsa, it was like, okay, let's bring one of these 2 pitches back into the mix. Got to either throw my curveball or a changeup to get a third pitch going. And I went with my curveball just because I threw that mainly in high school. So I just felt like an easier fix. And then this offseason, working on just establishing a changeup to get that 4th pitch going for sure.
Yeah, because with the Cubs, your arm slot was a little lower, right? And the breaking ball was mainly the sweeper. So with the
that was kind of like, I'd lower my arm slot a little just to try and manipulate the movement for sure. And then now it's just like kind of get over the top. Same thing I got with my fastball, and just basically throw everything as hard as I can. Every single one of my pitches is throw it as hard as I can. So,
yeah, I mean, nasty stuff. That 70s curveball, I mean, everything you're working with. I mean, it feels like you're just continuing to expand and get more confidence. But what's the next step? What's the offseason look like as far as the pitch mix goes, mechanics go, anything that you're focusing on this offseason?
I feel like for sure is developing a changeup, trying to develop holding runners on a little bit better. I don't think I can ever be too good at holding runners, just because like once you get to the big leagues, you got so many coaches looking at things you do to like little tells to get a guy going to second base, keep a runner out of scoring position, and go a long ways in a game. So those 2 things are big. And then also just going out there, keeping my mechanics the same as they were at the end of the year, because it was working for me really well. So just trying to keep those going.
So with the goal for the changeup, is it more of a 4th pitch or just having secondary pitches you can just kind of use in any count and whatever one is on and kind of different offerings there?
I feel like my slider clearly told to me this year that it's going to end up being my second best pitch. And then I want my changeup and my curveball to be some of those pitches that I can work into any count. Be like a hitter sees a fastball slider and in the back of their head, they're like, okay, he's got changeup curveball for sure. So at some point down the road, I would want it to be like, okay, he's got 4 pitches. He throws them whenever he wants, however hard he wants, whatever he wants to do with them. I just don't really want them to be like, okay, fastball slider here, not thinking curveball or changeup at all.
Yeah, because you talk to scouts, are like, Jackson Ferris has the potential to have 3 above average pitches, fastball, a couple secondary pitches. I mean, that's someone who has a future in Major League Baseball. Kind of big picture. I know a lot of players, they go through the process. They kind of think of their time in the minor leagues as just waiting for your time in the show. Big picture, what are your goals in baseball? Multi-time All-Star, make it to the show, kind of take it day by day. I know that's kind of a loaded question, but I mean, just kind of like to see where guys like you're at, because you're one of the top prospects for what is the best organization in baseball right now.
Yeah, I feel like step one is always just, going up a level. So right now I'm in AA. You got to start going up to AAA and then go into the big league. So I definitely want to get to the big leagues as quick as possible, establish myself there. And I feel like if I get to the big leagues, there's no end in sight. Like I want to be a Hall of Famer. I want to be all those things, be in Cooperstown, go down as one of the greater lefty pitchers out there. Like I want it all. So I'm definitely working for it all.
That's what we love to hear. That's what we love to hear, the confidence from Jackson Ferris joining us, the Dodgers top pitching prospect here on Dodgers Dugout Live, the #1 Dodgers podcast and show on YouTube. Now, as far as the key to taking the next step in your development, is it having a better command of the strike zone? Is it throwing more strikes? And if so, what is the key to that? Just kind of harnessing that command.
I feel like, yeah, that's a big key. I feel like there are a lot of big keys, but for me, that's always been something that people have talked to me about. And I feel like it's just all in my own head. Like I've clearly shown out there that like I feel like I had the same mentality that most people have. You don't want to get hit. You don't want to get hit hard. You don't want to give up home runs. You don't want to give up runs, whatever. And you just got to go out there and you got to throw the ball over the plate. A Hall of Fame hitter gets a hit 3 out of 10 times. And it's like, wow, clearly like a pitcher's going to win majority of the battles if you just throw it over the plate. Just go out there. You got the stuff to do it. Just go out there and do what you do. Throw it over the plate.
So there he goes, Jackson Ferris. Lots of confidence in himself, and you see why, because he's got the stuff. We're going to see him at some point. Most likely not this season. It's possible, but for sure the following season. So like what I've seen from him. Another guy that stood out yesterday was Michael Conforto. So Michael Conforto has gotten off to a slow start this spring, had just 2 hits in his first 17 at-bats. But yesterday goes 3 for 3, had a double, scored 2 runs in the Dodgers 8-4 win over the Texas Rangers. And not a lot of people are talking about Michael Conforto, and I understand why, right? I mean, you got Shohei, Roki, you bring in Blake Snell, you have all these talented all-star future Hall of Famers. You're not really talking too much about Michael Conforto, but let's not forget, he's a former all-star. He's someone that's going to be your starting left fielder. And I think that he's going to be an all-star for the Dodgers. I think there's a really good chance that he's a breakout surprise player for this team, just in the simple fact that he was great outside of San Francisco, and he would follow the path. JD Martinez, his career looks like it's on the decline. It looks like he's washed, as the kids say, like he's starting to be this player that no one really wanted. He goes to the Dodgers. He makes the all-star team. Teoscar Hernandez had a down year with the Mariners. Didn't get the kind of contract he wanted in free agency. Goes with the Dodgers. Makes the all-star team. Michael Conforto, little older, but still outside of Oracle, he was so productive. And he, even as a whole, his numbers, they were good. I mean, they were good, above average numbers. He had a 112 weighted runs created plus in 2024, hit 20 home runs. So he was 12% above league average, but last 2 months of the season had a 137 weighted runs created plus. He also was a reverse platoon split guy, having more success against lefties than righties. Had a 133 weighted runs created plus outside of Oracle, which is a stadium that suppresses offensive numbers. So to have Michael Conforto batting in a Dodgers lineup that has more talent around him, batting on a 1-year contract at $17 million, trying to get another payday. That is the recipe for success for him. I think that he's due to have a really nice season. I could see him hitting 25 to 30 home runs for this team. And like I said, the Dodgers outfield last season, overall their production, they were not great. They were not great. In fact, the last 3 years, the Dodgers outfielders, I mean, they've had a 105 weighted runs created plus. That's 5% above league average. Last season alone, the Dodgers outfielders combined for a 101 weighted runs created plus. So offensively, even with Teoscar Hernandez out there last year, the Dodgers offense was exactly 1% above league average. So don't underestimate what Michael Conforto could do for the Dodgers offensive production. And I just look at what he can do for this team. $17 million. He's got the $8.5 million signing bonus that he wanted. He got the deal that he was happy with. And he was a player years past that looked like he was going to be a multi-time All-Star. I actually talked to Conforto a couple of weeks ago, and he said, hey, I love hitting at Dodger Stadium. I like the batter's eye, and I think that he came here for a reason. It's to win a championship and have a nice year, get another payday. And I think he's going to do just that. But here was Michael Conforto after the game talking about where his swing's at this point in spring training.
Yeah, well, typically spring has been tough for me. I've had a couple good springs in the big leagues, but, it takes a little bit of time for me to get my timing back. And today, we did a lot of work. I've been frustrated, obviously. Nobody wants to go out there and make outs and not feel right. So we put a little extra work in, work some things out, and, just kind of, I think, really what it was just leveling out my swing a little bit and being on time, and two simple things. And sometimes it's a little easier said than done, but today was a good day, so it's a good place to start.
As you mentioned, it's obviously like a game of adjustments. Do you think these ones that you've made, though, today are things kind of you look to continue, especially just out throughout the regular season?
Yeah, I mean, it's always going to be a constant process. The idea is to stay somewhat consistent in my routine and what I'm thinking up there. Have a good base to come back to. I mean, write everything down that I'm feeling, things that didn't work, things that I've had more success with, and really, I mean, spring's about building the base and having a place to go when things kind of get a little screwy. So, like I said, I mean, it's going to be a process all year, but I feel good. I feel good at this point.
He feels good. That's important. Fangraphs projects him to 244 with a 323 on base, slugging 429, a 111 weighted runs created plus. They have him hitting 19 home runs. So I got my projections dropping next week. I actually have him higher than that just because I believe in him. He's enters age 33 season, still I think has a couple really, really nice years at the plate. So Michael Conforto, don't sleep on Michael Conforto. All-Star season. Wouldn't that be crazy? All these players. No, everyone. What I say this time last year, my bold prediction, whereas Teoscar Hernandez would win the Silver Slugger and be an All-Star. Getting those same vibes from Teoscar Hernandez. Okay, now let's talk some Doc. Dave Roberts, and the most obvious extension ever in baseball history is nearing. And this is from Joel Sherman, who is reporting that the Dodgers and Dave Roberts are making progress on what would be a record-setting contract that could be done in the next couple of days. Joel Sherman said that the extension is, quote, expected to top the managerial annual value record and be finalized before the team leaves Wednesday to open the season in Tokyo. So Dave Roberts is entering the final year of his deal with the Dodgers. It was a 3-year contract that he signed a few years ago that paid him $4 million per season. $4 million per season. And now you're looking at a contract that is at the very least going to be double that. And we talked about it all offseason that Dave Roberts deserves to be the highest paid manager in Major League Baseball. And right now, Craig Counsell, he's the highest paid manager. He signed a 5-year, $40 million deal with the Cubs. at $8 million per season. Back in July, Alex Cora signed a extension with the Red Sox that was for 3 years, 21 and $7.5 million. So $21.75 million. That set him at $7.25 million per season. So Dave deserves to be the highest paid manager because he's on a Hall of Fame trajectory. He's won 4 NL pennants. He's won 2 World Series titles. He has kept this team afloat and on track, even through some significant off the field drama. Think about this. You already have high expectations for this team, right? Oh, Dave Roberts, he has the keys to a Bentley. Sure, he does, but you have to still know how to drive it. You still have to be able to land this plane like he does. And he does that every single year. And that is going through drama. The Ippei Mizuhara gambling scandal. Before that, last season, they dealt with things with off the field stuff with Trevor Bauer and Julio Urias and things like that. And that is something that can distract the clubhouse. But what Dave is really able to do is stay process oriented, focus on winning, as he says, a ball game every single day. And he keeps players bought in that could easily say, hey, in another organization, I'd be batting third. I'd be the all-star superstar. But he gets guys to buy into the vision of this team, and look no further than last season. I mean, he won a World Series with 3 starting pitchers and a comeback against the Padres where they were down 2-1. And I said it during that series when the Dodgers won Game 4. When the Dodgers won Game 4 of that series to send it to the 5th game, I said this is going to be the most significant win in Dave Roberts' career because winning that game led to them winning that series, which led to them going on to win the World Series, which is going to lead to him being the highest paid manager in baseball history and what will ultimately be a Hall of Fame career where no Dodger player will ever wear number 30 ever again. And I said it after that game, the post-game show, and I still feel that way today. And I think it's really cool because Dave Roberts wears 30 for Maury Wills. Maury Wills is someone who is not going to make it to the Hall of Fame. So he's going to be able to honor Maury Wills by getting his number retired for him. So I love that about that as well. And Dave did say last week about his ongoing contract negotiations with the team. Hopefully everything takes care of itself, but it's about value. I just love this organization, but yeah, you want to feel your value absolutely. And I do think that Dave has kind of made it clear that he's probably not going to be a Lasorda or a Alston, one of these guys that manages over 20 years, but another 5-6 years, and you win another couple of World Series, and you tie a bow on what will be a Hall of Fame career as a manager. And look, this is someone who really should have 3 World Series titles if it weren't for the cheating Trastros. But I told you guys before, I mean, you would blame Dave Roberts for the sinking of the Titanic, right? And I always said that he had to win 2 World Series to win 1 for this fan base. For some people in this fan base that don't appreciate Dave Roberts, well, he has won that World Series, and he's a made man. Mookie Betts said himself that they were in the World Series because of Dave Roberts. So if you're hating on Dave Roberts, would you tell Mookie to his face that Dave Roberts is not a good manager? I mean, just think about that. Dave Roberts is he's the face of his organization. He talks to the media twice, 3 times. Anytime they have a visitor, a celebrity throwing out the first pitch, it's Dave Roberts going meeting with them. It's Dave Roberts being the front-facing member of the best organization in sports. So let's not forget that too. A lot comes with that. And then on top of everything else, he's just gotten better as a manager, right? Going out there, putting his hands on Blake Trinan, not taking the ball away from him, being a little more trusting to his players. And look at his relationship with Shohei Ohtani, right? I mean, the prank wars between them two. He's essentially become like a father figure to Mookie Betts. I mean, the number one thing that sticks out to me for Dave Roberts is I remember asking Miguel Rojas. I asked Miguel Rojas, hey, Miguel, who is the leader on this team? Who is the clubhouse leader of the Dodgers? And I was expecting him to say a player's name. Mookie, Freddie, himself. And you know what he said? He He said the leader of this team isn't a player, it's Dave Roberts. He said that is the leader of this team, because if Dave needs to send a message to a player, he'll go to a player to send a message to another player. He kind of uses it as little chess pieces. So that level of communication does not go unnoticed, and it's great to see Dave get a bag and get his flowers. I'm very excited for Dave Roberts. But my question to you, though, is who do you want to see the Dodgers have as their manager after Dave Roberts? So throw some of those in here on the 7th inning stretch. But before we get to that 7th inning stretch where we answer all your questions, we've got a segment of designated Twitter. So we are going through all your tweets, and we've got some really cool ones here. So we're going to get into these here next on Designated Twitter.
Designated Twitter, the best of Dodgers social media.
All right, who do we have first, Tony Taters? We've got haven't stopped thinking about Roki Sasaki's splitter. It's truly a unicorn pitch. No one has this horizontal movement. Can you make it a little bigger? I can't see it at all. No one has this horizontal movement. There we go. No one has this horizontal movement range that Sasaki has while maintaining at the RPM. It's just 18 splitters, but it has this ceiling of best pitch in baseball. Yeah, Alex, I mean, it truly does. And look, I've been saying this for years now about Roki Sasaki, is when he stepped onto the scene, he was going to have the best splitty in the game right out of the gates. And what makes it so unique is the low spin rate of it. I mean, you're talking about like 518 RPMs, and the drop is crazy. I mean, 45 inches of drop. You got that, the arm side run, the arm side break on it, and that fade. It's just crazy. I mean, the dude has a splitter that has cut into it too. So, I mean, it's just such a unique pitch, and it's going to be an absolute problem for hitters all around Major League Baseball. We got IM2 West Coast. The guy that loses in round 1 and 2 of the playoffs constantly with $1 billion team, his yearly percentage since he's been there to win a World Series is like 150 since he's been there. You know what's interesting about that is to have 2 Worlds. First of all, there's no team out there that would not line up to have a manager have the kind of success that Dave Roberts has. So, I mean, baseball is the sport where great teams with great regular season records still come up short in the postseason. It's not the NBA. The NBA is very predictable in comparison to Major League Baseball. Even the National Football League is predictable compared to Major League Baseball. So, I mean, look, you'll take the 2 World Series. How many World Series did Tommy Lasorda have? He had 2, right, in 21 years. So, I mean, to say that, to bring up the record of, that's the only way you're going to judge on that is that winning percentage, well, then I guess you think that the Houston Astros World Series was valid, right? I mean, because that's what essentially you're saying, because really he should have a 3rd World Series title. What else we got, though? We got Shohei over here. LMFAO Ohtani had a stiff neck because his unusual position of sleeping with decoy. I can't.
Bruh.
Wow. Come on, Shohei. Come on. You can afford to give him the nicest dog bed in the world. Give him a king-size decoy dog bed. But honestly, I don't think decoy is so famous. I mean, run that back. I want to see the picture of it here. I don't even think it's he's sleeping with decoy. I think decoy was, he's there and he's cuddling with the best player in the world. You got a unicorn and a dog, sleeping. But are you guys against sleeping with your dog in beds? I mean, for me, I got 2 Yorkies, Kobe and Bunny, and they sleep with me every night. So, I mean, it's tough for me. I do, though. I'm about it. What about you, Noel?
Yeah, I have a little Boston Terrier. Her name's Harley. She's lovely. She sleeps.
Shout out to Harley.
Yeah, shout out to Harley. She sleeps in my parents' bed a lot. She's like a little baby, just sleeping in between them. But sometimes in my room, I have like a blanket that I keep on my chair, and I'll get home and I'll find her like on top of my cover. Or sometimes when I put it on the nighttime, I'll put it on and like I'll just get her scent. And I'm like, she got there. So I love her, So I'm for it. Small dog sleeping in bed.
I like that. That's hard. How about you, Tony? You're a cats guy, right?
Yeah, I have a lovely cat. Her name is Callie. I love her, guys. Come on.
I don't like cats.
I never knew. It's crazy. I never knew that. I never had one conversation about Antonio about cats, but I knew he was a cats guy. You know what I mean?
Let's just say I relate to Tony Gonsolin a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love it when my cat. It's a privilege when my cat sleeps with me. I'm always like, oh, por favor.
My thing with cats is they're so sneaky. The arching their back, walking around. I can't do cats.
Yeah, the cats. No, thank you on the cats, but dogs all day. But what else we got? Let's see. We got on our next. We got Kirsch. This is peak male form. It absolutely is. This is peak male form. Yeah, Clayton Kershaw's been owning up to the dad bod for years now, and in the celebrations with the beer out everywhere. This is. I mean, if we are going to study what a dude should look like, this is the guy that we should. I mean, this peak male form, 100%. Clayton Edward Kershaw. Shout out to the Kershans out there. What else we got? We got MLB Puerto Rico. Okay, this is Espanol. You guys are trying to throw me for a loop here. Let's see if I can read this. Quique y los Dodgers, si uno para el otro. Sí. Quique y los Dodgers, el uno para el otro.
Hey, the main text, the middle.
The middle, okay. Quique lleva 7 spring training con los Dodgers. So he's in his
Dodgers.
Los Dodgers. That's
there
right.
You go.
All right, so yeah, do the translation real quick here. We got what do we got here?
All right, Tony.
Oh, you want me to do it? Kike is 7 spring training. Kike with the Dodgers, one for the other.
Here we go. I love that. That's awesome. And look at that picture. Kike's a fool. I love this guy. He's just the heartbeat of the team, honestly. Everyone loves him. But what else we got? Next one. Buying Dodgers tickets in 2016 a month in advance. I hope Kershaw pitches that day. Buying Dodgers tickets in 2025 a month in advance. I hope Ohtani, Snell, Sasaki, Yamamoto, Glasnow, Kershaw pitches that day. Yeah, I mean, Kershaw was kind of the main attraction and kind of our one guy. I mean, there was Zach Greinke and other stars and Hyunjin Ryu for a long time and the guys like that. But yeah, it is, like I always say, an embarrassment of pitches for this Dodgers team. What else we got? We got all of us thinking we can buy Murakami Dodgers from Complex, the little clown emoji. Yeah, those jerseys are hot. We'll talk about that in the walk-off right there. I mean, did you guys get some? Did you guys get the jerseys everyone wanted with the flowers all over it, which was really, really cool? I mean, you gotta love the cherry blossoms. Let's see what else we got. We got Darth Disney. They will win 118 games, which will break the record, but will lose the first 2 in Japan. Hey, where do I sign up? No one's going to remember that. No one's going to remember that at all. I mean, that it's a regular season game out of 162, right? I mean, I think right? And the Padres and that game, and you had Mookie Betts going off earlier in that one. You had Yoshinobu Yamamoto going off the mound after just a rough start to his career, and people were kind of freaking out about it. But truth of the matter is, no one really cared after that, right? At the end of the day, it was significant because it was a game in Seoul, South Korea. But I mean, they lost the second one 15-11. They split. Did the Padres hang? I didn't even check. Did the Padres have a parade for that or hang a banner?
Oh, they definitely did.
Did they?
Definitely. Once they came back to Gaslamp, it was
they
definitely
did.
cracking
Yeah,
there. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
I heard Antonio was out there too.
Was Antonio out there?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure for opening day from San Diego, it's split the Seoul series with the Dodgers championship parade for that 15-11 win out there with that was a Yamamoto pitch, but the Dodgers, they did win game 1. 5-2. But what else we got here on designated Twitter? Best of Dodgers social media. 8:05 historian Dustin May settles into the closer role and throws the last pitch in the 2025 World Series as the Dodgers go back-to-back for the first time in franchise history. So I like the idea of Dustin May as a closer, but it would scare me in the sense that would we really have that this season? Because Tanner Scott was their big offseason acquisition, and you want him to get the lion's share of those opportunities. But coming up next, now let's talk to you guys. I want all your takes about all things Dodger baseball here on the 7th inning stretch.
The 7th inning stretch.
All right, we'll give that the comment of the show. Who's going to take that comment of the show? Who's taking the belt? Who's taking the title first? Got to give some love to a super chat from Kelly Oshiro, 1999. And she says, why can't Kike be considered as a starter, say in center field? He's batting above 310 in spring training. So Dave talked about this last week, and that the plan for Kike is to be a bench bat, to be someone that is versatile, that you can move around. But the truth of the matter is Kike, in his opportunities as a starter, as an everyday player, hasn't been an above average player. I mean, he's a below average bat throughout his regular season career, 7% below league average. In the postseason, that's when he turns up. So if you plugged him into a everyday starter's role, you would lose that versatility that he brings and the depth that he provides. I do think you could see some platoon stuff with him and Max Muncy at third base if Muncy struggles against lefties like he did last season. But that's just who Kike is. I mean, he is a utility man and someone that just goes crazy in the postseason. They're not going to mess with that. They're not going to mess with that. We got some more down here, and let's see who we got for the comment of the show nominations. We got Kelly Oshiro last year in Korea. The interpreter news went down. What will happen in Japan? Wow, hopefully nothing. I'll tell you that much. We got, I don't want to see that. We got Tayo CT3 next manager. Interesting. Jay Dodgers, Chase Utley, Justin Turner, Goat Kershaw, and Miggy Rowe. That would be a lot of fun for media members to have that as a coaching staff. I mean, Miguel Rojas has told us he wants to be a manager of the Dodgers. A lot of people assume that Justin Turner will be that guy. Chase Utley needs to get in the mix if he wants to take that job. But Tayo says, I'll take the Silver Fox. Joe Rodriguez, D-Mac for Dodgers manager. Let's go. I'll put myself in the game. If we're struggling, I'll put myself in the game. I'll get the hits. I'll make the pitches. But, yeah, I'd rather be the I could call the game and manage the game at the same time. I could have a headset in the dugout. It'd be a lot of fun. We got the Jose Aguirre. He is no longer Doug. He's known as Diego Mac. I don't understand it, but it's all good. I like it. Milan 15, I like it. That's what I'm talking about. My man Jose Aguirre always rocking with us. Milan 15, does Roki's splitter have two different movements? I mean, the shape is a little different when he's landing in the zone versus getting the chase, but it's a very dramatic vertical break that does sometimes have that fade where you see it go east and west. So that's what, and it has some cut to it. So it's such a unique pitch. Eunice, we're going to have Roki of the year, manager of the year, and the MVP. Let's go Dodgers. We've got what happened to the Dodgers first base coach? That's from Surfing Wet 1. McCullough is now the manager of the Marlins. So Clayton McCullough has taken on that job. Adrian Gonzalez for manager. Elias Elizondo. What up, Dodgers Nation? The lines at Dodgers Fest are going faster than Stanton rounding third. There we go. It's our first comment of the show. I like that. Elishima Jones. I love D-Mac Hawaiian Dodgers shirt. Yes, I do look like I work at the Dodgers resort in Hawaii, or I'm the manager at Islands. But yeah, it's the Fun Shirt Friday. Let's go. Milan 15 at UCLA Bruin will be the highest paid manager. Let's go. There you go. For sure. We got why bro got a part of tater tots in his name. Talking about the Tony Taters right there. A little shout out to Antonio. Let's see what else we got down below in the comment section. Jay Dodger says D-Mac, part of the reason they moved Mookie to shortstop was to limit the wear and tear of his body in right field. How will that be better? I think you mean second base, but yeah, I mean, that's something we've talked about on this show. And the good thing is we haven't talked a lot about Mookie at shortstop during spring training. That's positive. That's a good thing, because that means he's making the routine plays, and at the very least, he's doing a respectable job. So that's a good thing. The biggest storyline last year during spring training was Gavin Lux being moved off that position and Mookie having to take over. So it's a good problem to have for sure. Steve, D-Mac will sub for Will Smith and no one will notice. A little comment of the show. There we go. You guys are going to post that picture of me in the Dodgers jersey when he doesn't do well, right? And they're going to say people are going to say this is Will Smith when I have money on the Dodgers. Yeah, right? Yeah, I'm ready for it. I'm not mad.
It's going to say me whenever I bet U.S. currency on Will Smith.
That's going to be me for sure. Okay, we've got we got D-Mac calling and managing. Love it. A unicorn two-way guy like Shohei. Awesome for sure. Surfing with Elishima Jones. Flattened. We've got the D-Mac tour-to-pound competition between innings. Bruh. That's getting a bruh. Trevor Westerndorf says most underrated bullpen acquisition, re-signing Kike. Another comment of the show. I love that for sure. Absolutely. But we are running out of time here. So actually, I want to see this one. Paul Nanny, hot takes. We got a fire take here. Hot take. Conforto hits 4 homers in San Francisco this year, passing his total from last year in a fraction of the games. I like that. And he would love that as well for sure. No doubt about it. Oh, Jose Aguirre says Dustin May choked on lettuce and needed surgery, but he still didn't choke as bad as the Padres.
Finish him.
Wow, finish him. There you go. You guys really bring it here on Friday for sure. D-Mac, how many tortas do you think King Kerr slams a day? Man, I don't know. He probably likes tortas. He probably likes burgers. I don't know. What would you say? We'll ask Antonio that one. How many do you think that? How many tortas is Kerr eat a day?
I'm going to say I can eat more than him, but I'm going to say at least 5.
At least 5. All right, 5 tortas.
Let's
for
go,
Kersh. But hey, no matter what, he's a Dodger for life. All right, guys. So running out of time. So let's hit the walk-off.
The walk-off.
So here on the walk-off, we're going to talk about this jersey that everyone is talking about, that everyone wants. Fanatics and Complex, they collaborated for a Takashi Murakami MLB Tokyo Series collection. It's an exclusive partnership between the renowned Japanese artist Takashi Murakami and Major League Baseball. They released it today. It was $250 for the jersey, and you see all these really, really cool cherry blossoms, or in Japan, they call it sakura, which symbolizes the fleeting beauty of life, hope, and renewal, and are celebrated through the tradition of Hanami. So it's like flower viewing. So really cool to see this collaboration. You also have the really awesome Tokyo Series patch. They have the Yamamoto. They have the Ohtani. Now, the aftermarket on these are going for over $500. So you're essentially dropping $500 on a Dodgers jersey with the cherry blossoms. And I know a lot of people wanted these, and it's really cool. Takashi Murakami said, I think this new collection builds upon the historical friendship between Japan and the United States. I feel lucky to be able to work alongside Fanatics, Complex, and Major League Baseball and highlight Shohei Ohtani, an outstanding athlete who has emerged from Japan and made a name for himself on the global stage. This is something I am overwhelmed with gratitude to be a part of. So, yeah, you also had a hat. The hat was out there. Some new era hats that are also going for above retail. There's a Topps trading card set, a special 2025 Topps Murakami MLB Tokyo Series matchup set starting at $120. So 25 card set features Murakami artwork and celebrates the players of the Cubs and the Dodgers, Ohtani, Yamamoto, Seiya Suzuki, and Shota Imanaga. So really cool. You got rare parallels and autographs, and each limited edition box will contain one 25-card complete set, a serial numbered base card parallel at $199 or lower. So they are really bringing it for this series. But let me know, what are your thoughts on the Murakami Dodgers jersey? Let's ask our fashion guru over here, Noel. Noel, what are your thoughts on the jersey? And let's see what the fans have to say.
Yeah, I like it. I think they did a great job, honestly, just paying homage to the Japanese culture. I think Takashi Murakami, he's one of the most renowned artists from Japan, and he's done a lot of great work. He has decades of track records working with teams and working with just numerous platforms out in Japan. My personal favorites, I like the tees more than I like the jerseys, actually. I also really like the beanie. I'm not a big hat guy, but if I wore hats, I think I would cop that beanie. But the graphic tee and the beanie are probably my favorites. What about you, D-Mac?
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I think it's kind of one of those things where it's like, what do you give the fan? I mean, if you're the fan that has every jersey, like, what are you going to get next?
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're a collector, I think it's really, really cool. I will say, though, I did see some pictures of ones that had the number 17 on the front.
Yeah.
And did the drops not have the 17 on the front? Because, you know, that's my number one pet peeve about Dodgers jerseys. Like, that's my number one pet peeve. Like, the red number is what makes the Dodgers jersey extra special. It provides that pop of color. It's just from the red on the seams and the logo design. And I need for me to complete the look, I need the 17. I mean,
they were doing the online drops and they also had the pop-up shops. So I think they were like kind of spreading out the inventory and spreading out the designs. What I will say is, like, I made a reel about the drop, and I feel like it was just split 50%. Half the people in the comment section loved the designs. half the people hated
The
them.
shirt's cool. So with the animated?
Yeah.
Yeah, the shirt's pretty sick.
The general reaction was like a bit split. And also, people weren't liking the prices.
Yeah, I will say it's way better than that jersey, the holy jersey.
Oh, yeah.
And the holy Dodgers hat. That was awful. But let's see what the fans have to say. Read a couple comments before we head out of this one. Someone saying that, Rosemary copped it, dropped $280 on it today. So there you go. She picked it up. It's going for over retail. Michael Hager says Murakami is the GOAT artist. See his stuff in downtown LA and at the Broad Museum. Our nation doesn't like it. Oh, so he's a fan of the Raiders. Shout out to Chris Berman. Says, I'm a pass on that one, my G. So he's not a fan for sure. Let's see what anyone else has to say. Jose Aguirre should have some tortoise. Oh, come on the jersey. Come on. Relax. Awesome. So yeah, it seems like people are loving it for sure. And it's cool. It's a great way to celebrate the Dodgers trip to Tokyo, which is going to be absolutely historic. But that is going to do it for this episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. If you haven't yet, do me a huge favor, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, drop your comments down below. Rookie of the Year, so you're eligible for our next giveaway at 120,000 subscribers. We're giving away a Roki Sasaki jersey. Also, do me the biggest favor, go to the Big Lead One. That's my new channel, my new show. It's about all the hottest stories in sports. Talk a lot of Lakers over there. It's pretty much a Lakers podcast at this point with all the other stories too. But yeah, definitely go subscribe to that. And the Discord channel. We're lowering the price to $6.99 because we want as many Dodgers fans as we can get. Great community. You'll be able to call into the show, exclusive merch, behind-the-scenes content, interviews, Q&As, and more. Tony Taters will FaceTime you in there. It's pretty cool. But that is good for this episode. Have a great weekend. Remember, nothing brings us together quite like Dodger baseball. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.